And hello, 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 and welcome to the Be Real, Get Real podcast. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And on today's episode, we're going to have an interesting conversation with our guest, Denise Reed, as she talks about life and business are like my mom's prune soup. Welcome, Denise. I'm so glad you could be here today.
I'm glad to be here too, and to share the story of prune soup because it's such an interesting dish. And I have a few foodie friends that will be interested in this recipe just because it's not a normal thing for someone to go, ooh, let's do prune soup.
I've never had prune soup. As a matter of fact, I don't know that I've even ever eaten a prune. My grandmother, you reminded me, she had a can of prunes, or it was like a canister, and she would chew on these and have prune pits in her pockets.
Yeah.
Thanks for the flashback.
Oh, yes. And if you have grandmothers, they've probably eaten prunes on a regular basis, but maybe not as a soup dish.
Yeah.
So
before we dive in, let me tune our audience in to a little bit about you before we speak. So Denise Reed is vivaciously, and you can feel it already, she's vivaciously dedicated to empowering you. She realized life is a lot like her mom's prune soup, a crazy mix of unexpected deliciousness. As an award-winning 25-plus year business owner, serving other business owners in a full-service executive suite, there's one thing she does every day: solve problems. And she's got quite the diverse background, and I'm sure we're going to dive into chickens and hens and prunes and all kinds of great things today. So thank you, Denise. All right, prune soup. I don't get it.
Most people don't, and they don't make it, and they don't care about it. It is not a commonly eaten course of any meal that the average person in America would eat. So it tells you a little bit about my family history too. And I was talking to my mom. I said, Mom, we've eaten this soup on holidays, and we haven't really talked about the family history of it, like beyond our immediate, like my grandmother, my mom, and myself and my sister. And I have one sister, Nancy, so my dad died when I was 13. So in my teenage years, my mom and my sister and I were the three women in the house. So our stories are similar to growing up, like with your mom and your sisters. So I feel like if we had a happy hour together, it would be a fun conversation.
I'm sure it would. with some prune soup as the main course after half.
Oh, absolutely. And so in my conversation with my mom, I said, Mom, tell me about, like, in our extended maternal side of the family, about what you remember about sharing this dish. And she said, well, your great grandmother would fix it for holidays. And she specifically remembered Thanksgiving with all of the extended family coming together in Buffalo, New York, and them sitting down, and this would be the soup course for the meal. And it's really pretty good. It's sweet and it's savory, and it just like warms your whole body. And like with any dish, you want to make sure that you have great ingredients to go in to make the end result wonderful when you're finished. So I'll give you the rundown for what comes into prune soup and how it's translated to my current life. So in prune soup, it really starts with fresh Polish sausage. Like, it's worth ordering. If you can order online from a vendor in Buffalo, New York, or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or the Dutch country in that area, to get fresh Polish sausage.
Okay.
So you definitely want to pound, and if you really love Polish sausage, get a little extra because you'll want it. And so you take the Polish sausage and you put it in about 2 quarts of water. So you're going to boil it to create the broth for your soup. And it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to cook, a normal, like it's like smoked sausage, but it's not smoked, it's fresh. So all of the herbs come out from the Polish sausage into the broth. So that's what gives you the savory. So after you boil the sausage, you want to skim off the fat and other stuff that comes up when you boil meats. And then you'll want to take like a half a box of prunes, which for those that have not had a farming background, maybe don't realize that prunes are plums in disguise.
Right. Like, they're the raisin as to grapes.
Grapes, yes. So you want to make sure, like your grandmother put her pits in her pocket, that you get the pitted plums, because you don't want pits in your soup.
No.
Yeah, not a good thing.
Although
So
I'm already imagining some analogies as it relates to business, because sometimes it's in your business and you weren't planning on them.
Yes, an unexpected delicious surprise.
Yeah.
So you'll take your prunes, about a half a box. If you get a box of them, make sure that there's no pits, and put them into your broth. You'll need about 2 heaping tablespoons of brown sugar, and about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
So that gives you the sweet and the savory and a little bit of pickle in there. And then you'll bring your prunes and your broth and your Polish sausage to a rolling boil. And you want to have cut your Polish sausage into bite-sized pieces. I forgot that part. And then bring it to a rolling boil, and you'll need about a pound of really good egg noodles.
Okay.
So once you bring it to a rolling boil with your prunes, and you've your brown sugar and your vinegar all in there, and then the savory from the Polish sausage, put your egg noodles in there, and when your egg noodles are done, your soup is ready to eat.
And my daughter loves to make soup, so I'm sure she's going to be dialing into this recipe.
Yes, so I may see a resurgence in prune soup and Women's Prosperity Network if everybody's watching the podcast.
All right, so let me ask a question, because I know we're going to go into some of the relatedness to life and business as it comes to prune soup. So you dropped in there, you grew up on a farm. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so there's a lot of learning that happens on the farm as well.
A ton of learning. You have a diligent, hard work ethic, and understand the fruits of your labor.
And so working with nature and the seasons, which oftentimes when we're struggling, I find that we're going against the flow instead of with the flow, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it hasn't been until recently that I've learned what valuable lessons by osmosis growing up on a farm that I actually have been able to implement and have a greater understanding and passion for currently. The hard work, being able to work with the seasons of your life and the seasons of the environment. When you're on a farm, you totally have an understanding of that. You understand how not only the people on the farm, the animals that you're working with, if you have animals, the fruits, the vegetables, when they come in and out, what contributes to the growth and prosperity on your farm to, turn it into an income earning, or at least for you to be able to eat the fruits of your labor.
Well, let me dial in here, because we are in a very interesting season right now.
Oh, definitely.
Just talking, if we only were to talk about the impact and effects of this virus, this season, this pandemic, And I know you
Mm-hmm.
work closely with business owners. So
Yes.
having the skill set of adaptability, which is what we
Oh,
need, when we're
mm,
in
most
business
definitely.
and life. So how do you see these lessons from the farm have helped not only you, but the clients that you're serving right now in this particular season?
Well, in the work that I do now in my executive suite business here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I've learned, because serving executives and having some retail experience and just my total business life experience, that business is really a head game.
Oh yeah.
It's a serious, serious head game. And the more you understand how much your mindset controls how successful you are in business,
Truth bomb,
the better.
friends. Truth bomb right here.
Oh, hashtag it's possible to do anything with persistence and making sure that you're always making it a little better the next time you go around the loop. And I'm preparing a workshop coming up this September and looking at how influential mindset is for all of us that are business people. And even if you're not business people, if you've never owned a company
Uh-huh.
and you're just starting to explore it, you better have some real fortitude, sisters and brothers, if you want to step into the arena of directing your path. One of the jokes with one of my clients is you only eat what you kill. So if you're not out there hunting for prospects, for new business, cultivating the business that you have, you'll never be able to make it.
Mhm.
You'll never be able to make it. And failure is a regular experience. I was watching
Oh,
a
there's a regular experience.
Yeah, and let me tell you why it is a regular experience. Because if you're like Google and have the goal of a moonshot and be like Sarah Blakely with Spanx,
Hmm.
she kept going in and she tells the story about conversations with her family around the dinner table. And her dad would ask her, "What did you fail at today?"
Mm.
And he knew that if she was failing at something, she had tried something new or she had learned from the experience. And that's really what owning your own business is learning from your failures or learning from other people's experience so you can step up your game and do it better than you did yesterday.
Right. And that's all we need to compare to, right? Is who we were yesterday,
Absolutely.
not what somebody else is doing. And
Yes.
and I think there's a challenge today, which is why managing your mindset and reading books, having coaches, being
Hmm.
in masterminds with positive, like-minded people, it's so
Hmm.
essential because you scroll through your phone and it can be so easy to get sucked in. Oh,
Oh,
this
yes.
is having so much success. Why isn't it working for me? Blah, blah, all
Right.
of that.
Hmm.
And if we can look at, I love what you said about failure. Like if you're failing, you're out there doing something new. You're trying something different. And that's
And you're going for that big, as Google says, moonshot. So, like Mary Kay says, and she said it many years ago, if you shoot for the moon, you're going to land among stars. And we're stardust, Nancy. Isn't that freaking awesome?
yes, it is. It is. All right, so
And
we're gonna make prune soup. We're gonna realize that all of those ingredients come together. And so, what do you do if a pit sneaks in your prune soup?
well, if it sneaks in your prune soup, you can gnaw on it, make sure you get all the bits of the prune off because it's
Okay.
really a plum in disguise. And then you could discreetly throw it into your napkin when no
So
one was looking.
I love what your answer there because sometimes we get an unexpected surprise pit in our life
Oh, yeah.
or in our business, and the
Hmm.
what you said is suck on it to find, get all the good stuff off.
Sweetness.
Well, because
Yes.
and with every adversity is a seed of opportunity, says Napoleon Hill. And
Hmm.
And if all we do is go, oh, this is terrible, how did this get in here, and toss it away without taking the time to suck on that pit a little bit, see what's there. There might be good things for you, some sweetness.
Yes.
And you can discard it discreetly, take
Mm-hmm.
those extra bits you got, and
Mm-hmm.
continue eating your soup.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Denise, tell us, I know that I love the farming analogies, the soup, all these pieces, that you have this
Mhm.
problem-solving mind. Uh,
Yes.
Executive offices in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You also do business coaching and consulting. How can people get in touch with you?
Oh, you can definitely connect with me. I'm on all the big hitters, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and some other superfluous opportunities that are out there. I have a Twitter profile. My executive suite is the conciergeofficesuites.com. So I took a cue for being the one from the book for Women's Prosperity Network, and decided that I would make sure that our brand comprehend or shared the fact that we're only the concierge office suites. So we're an executive suite with concierge to serve our clients. So if you're an evolved entrepreneur and you're specializing in a particular area of business, or if you're part of the C-suite community and need to have support on a intermittent basis.
Perfect. That's a great need.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
So our business concierge team are here to help make things happen, and we want our clients to walk in the door and be able to go to work. So
Beautiful.
we can set up your office and set up your meeting space for you here at the Concierge Office Suites.
Awesome.
And we're celebrating 25 years in business this October.
Congratulations. You got a lot of good stuff happening.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Well, Denise, thank you for being with us today on the Be Real, Get Real podcast. Be sure to reach out to Denise at denisereed.is, and then also the conciergeofficesuites.com if you want services and a location in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's been a pleasure to be here with you and learn about prune soup. Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome. Have an awesome day, Nancy.
I definitely will. And to all of you listening in, thank you for joining us for the Be Real, Get Real podcast. Until next time, get out there and make it a magical day. You have the power. Bye, everybody. Bye, Denise.
Bye. Have a great day.